Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, John Hanneman. And hello, everybody. So glad to be here with you. We're having another amazing podcast show, and today I'll be sharing about letting go of your past life success. So what is going on, everybody? I've been having a great time, regardless of anything going on in the world right now. I'm enjoying making the best of it all, embracing life itself. And that's the key, is to stay centered in the eternal presence that's within. And that's where we're rocking it 24/7. And we get to enjoy the good life from there and let things flow. So today I'm talking about, again, this letting go of past life success. What's that all about? Is that literally your past lives? Could be. Or does that refer to, what am I referring to? So what I'm referring to for this episode really is, when I talk about past lives, is what kind of successes have you racked up to date in your life? There may be different areas where you've racked up successes. It could be any area of life really that you have experienced. Particularly though, I'm focused on in the area of business and career. So let's say your past life is as a corporate executive or something, and you had incredible success and you made 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever it was. Or you've done it in the healthcare profession, or you've done it in another business, and some kind of, you had a business that just, man, it just made a lot of money. It just really did well, selling whatever you were selling. And yet now you find yourself in a place where, however you created that business, whatever's going on in the creation of that and then the establishment of that business or that career took you to that level, and maybe you were even pretty happy with it or really happy with it, or maybe not happy with it. It's possible too. And then all of a sudden it comes to a conclusion, an end. Because it's not fulfilling anymore. There's something that's not right about it. And so there's a couple of categories that I commonly see for people that experience this. And the reason why I bring up this subject today is because I do specialize particularly in helping people to move through these transitions from having all the success to feeling like it's all crashing, and then something new is emerging for you, and you're being called in a new direction, and you have a sense of it, or even a clear sense of it, but you have not landed it yet. You have not manifested it yet. And if you haven't begun to manifest it, it's really not getting up off the ground the way you had imagined. So that's what I'm talking about. And so this topic is important because you need to let go. We're going to talk about the letting go of the successes that you've already had, in order to be able to be successful with what it is that's here for you now. So what am I referencing? Can I give you some examples? What the heck am I talking about? On your journey, you are guided on this whole tour of experiences, right? And as you're going through these different tours of experiences, as you are a child and went through grade school, middle school, and high school, and then college, and then beyond, or whatever you've done, you've experienced these different experiences and traumas and successes and wonderful, loving times and joyful times, all kind of times. And along the way, you know, what we all encounter is a certain level of programming. You know, we are programmed, or sometimes we say, based on our past lives, our literal past lives, and based on then, before we came into this life, we intended certain things, and part of those things might have even included the things we've just been doing in our lives, having that successful career as a lawyer or, whatever, again, whatever the thing might have been. And so everything's led up into these times and this moment you're in right now. And it's all been perfectly perfect. Because what I find is a lot of times, if you've had success, if you tasted that, you've experienced that, what undoubtedly has happened for you, contrary to, and I've reflected on this after I had a recent podcast guest on, what has happened to you, and it did happen to me too, to some degree, for sure, is once you've had that success, you have sort of a tied-in identity and connection with that success. And it's hard sometimes to envision your success doing something else and then you wonder if you should even. So let me give you my own personal example, and along the ways, maybe I can give you some other case studies of what I've seen for people and what are some of the keys to turning it around and why it's so important to let go of your previous successes. Of course, to acknowledge and to appreciate so deeply and completely it, and yet you have to let go of it. So let me use myself as an example. So, all right, long time ago, I was a soul seed, and okay, boom, there, okay. All right, that's all, I'm kind of kidding, but there I was. I went through all these lifetimes, and some of those lifetimes, I'll just speak to my own path, and those of you that aren't aware of your past lives or don't know as much about them as you'd like to, connect with me. I tune into those things. I can help you look at that. It's interesting, and it can help you understand and gain awareness about where you are today. So for me, I've had past lives. One was being with Jesus. And now if it's true or not, I actually don't always know that that's so true. True. Of course it's true. So it's so important is what I'm trying to say. If it's true or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is the energy of you feeling as though you had that experience and that it resonates. So for me, true or not true, because other people say they have the same experience, is I have the experience of being John, the disciple of Jesus, and I've had that experience. I've been taking a past life regression, for example. It's one way I connected with it, and had very deep experiences, very profound experiences of being that being. And that lifetime, there was a lot around making sure that we did the mission, that we fulfilled it, and that in a sense that we brought the good word forth, and that people would be informed of the truths of what Jesus had taught beyond Jesus's life alone. And then there was, of course, all the time that Jesus was there with me, which would be fascinating to spend more time tuning into, to be honest. Maybe I should write a book about it someday, really get into it. So one person did use my experiences as John in a book she did from others that had that experience of being there at that time. It was a fascinating book. I forget the name of it, quite frankly, but Marcia McMahon is her name. But anyway, so I had those experiences, and I had a sense. So within all that, something came into me through all these lifetimes. I'm here to save the world, right? I'm here, like so many people get that feeling that are spiritual rock star type of people, right? So I had that feeling, and then I had other lifetimes of, after that even, of being just a thug, for a kingdom, just a huge, massive male man and just a destroyer. I had lifetimes of being an invincible warrior. And I've had times of being a woman and being vulnerable and hiding and being humble and all kinds of, so all these different variations, right, make up like an amazing constellation of energy that shows up as this, in part of this beingness that I am in this lifetime. And so in this lifetime, my experience has been seeing as I had killed and conquered and succeeded in other ways in other lifetimes, and not so-called not succeeded in other lifetimes. this lifetime, I came in the moment that I started seeing things would go easily for me, I would tend to shut it down because something inside me felt like it's not about winning. And then also was about fairness, that other people get a chance to win. Because I had had some lifetimes where I was so invincible that no one else could win. And so my empathy was people should be able to win and not just me all the time. So I remember as a kid, I talk about this. If you followed me a long time, you probably heard this story before. I remember having those flashcards, for those of you old enough to have had that experience where you do the around the world in a classroom. You know, I was just really quick with math, especially next to my classmates when I was a kid. And so I would just instantly know the answers. And like the people that I was going against just usually have a blank stare and they were sitting there counting their fingers or something. And I started doing well. And then I learn to lose. I'd start to like, okay, this is too easy. It's not fair. I don't know why they can't figure it out, and we'll let them win. And then that became a pattern that got infused into my life, that I don't want to just win. I want to feel love and compassion for others, and I want to help others to succeed. It's not about me succeeding. And that pattern has continued in my life, and I continue to grow within that whole thing. That's pretty deep stuff, okay? I'm going pretty deep here, deeper than I thought I might. So I got into helping healers. Now there's, you know, healers, man, we can make such a difference in the world. And probably the undercurrent of helping healers when I created a business called Academy for Invincible Healers. Academy for Invincible Healers. And I had that going on for several years. And after struggling in myself to be in business and succeed, I learned how to succeed. I was doing these energy scans and energy scan healing channel prayers, and I helped others to do that and then succeed in business, because that, as a healer, and that's what I had struggled with. So I created this business. Became, you know, quite successful at it. A multi-six-figure business for multiple years. And in my industry, that's like, wow, you know, there's people that are far more successful than that. And yet that's still like, wow, that's a small percentage of people that ever reach that level of success. And I did it for several years. And so one day, as a tuned in guy that I am, I got just guidance that I was supposed to stop. And I had been questioning what I was doing for a while, because at some point my growth was stagnating. And it wasn't that I wasn't enjoying what I was doing anymore, but my growth in the business was stagnating. And I've always felt like, no, it shouldn't be that way. There should be a way for me to continue to grow in the business. And I wasn't seeing it. And so that was showing up on a conscious level. And then I got this internal signal at some point, no, it's time to be done with that. And that's what brought me to where I am today, is to interestingly help others that have been successful as well, and then find themselves, this depth comes into them, which had already been established for me at that time, but this deeper letting go comes in, that's just telling you, you know, this isn't your path anymore. As much as you thought maybe this was you and this is your thing, and maybe you do it for the rest of your life or for a long time, that this just isn't for you anymore. And now there's a new path to be going down. So when I first decided that I was going to move out of that, it wasn't really hard to make the decision, really, because I just am that way. I'll just go with my intuition, and it doesn't matter how big or small the decision is. And I always trust that. And yet I did have people saying, what the heck are you doing? You can't just quit selling what's successful. That's your bread and butter. And I would say, oh, yes, I can, and I will, because that is exactly what my guidance is. So I did that, and I had to let go of the sense of identity I had of being this guy that helps healers to go from the ground up in terms of their business. and to hone their abilities through tuning into people, energy scanning, intuitive energy scanning. I had to let it go. And the only way I could allow the new business to be formed, which I call it Your Sacred Purpose, and Spiritual Rockstar is a part of that, is to let go of what I had done. And so you have to let go of it. You can't, one of the things I've learned is you can't, kind of do them both at the same time usually. I mean, if you do, you can only temporarily do it. And then at some point, it's just you have to flip. And I've experienced that in other times in my life. But I'm just using this as an example. I had to flip into the new business and even experience the sense of death. Like maybe I'm not going to be generating any new clients or revenue or anything that, especially if I was going to offer the same old stuff. So I had to face that, and I had to let go of my past life, which was being that Academy for Invincible Healer guy. And in the process of letting go of that parts, and I've had colleagues do this too, and I didn't plan to do this, but at one point, it was the new year, and I just came to me, we're letting go of things, we burn things in the fire, we do this each year. And that year I was like, yep, this year I was letting go of the Academy, burning that in the fire. And it just came to me, okay, let's put that to burn in the fire. And I did, and it wasn't logical, it just felt right. And so I did it. And so whatever it is that you want to let go of, how do you let go of it? We're getting into that spot right now. One thing is do a ritual like that. Do something to let go of it. Start deleting some of the pages, your website. Don't make it accessible anymore if it's an online business, or if it's if it's a business or a career, that you go to work every day or whatever. Is there a way to decrease your hours maybe, or decrease your involvement in it, and then set a deadline for when you'll be out of there, and then do your very best to stick to that deadline. And once that deadline comes, never look back, have that mentality. So basically that's more or less what I've done when I've reached those junctures before, is I've just decided, okay, I'm going to start letting go of it. And as fast as it feels real, right for me to be, letting go of it. And one way is to do a ritual, burn it in a fire. I mean, I've seen a colleague of mine take different items from their business that they have created, like that physical items, symbolism and whatever, and they just put it in a fire. So it's a powerful ritual, and it will help you to let go of what you created, because the truth is, and it reminds me, some of you maybe heard this from this person, but there was a person recently who is a powerful, well-known leader, I would say, in the transformational space, pretty well-known, and recently lost his son. And he talked about the flame of light that is the eternal source, basically, is how I read it. And he talked about this poem of everything ultimately gets consumed by that light. So even your most precious things, whatever it is. So no matter how precious what you've created so far is, you have to let it burn. You need to let it burn up in the light so that you can come back to the trueness of who you are, and then let whatever new wants to be created. So it's that simple. And that's at least the first steps. And then it's whatever wants to be created. Often the people I work with anyway, it's something deep and spiritual in its tone, or if it's not yet, it gets there usually once they work with me, because they realize how deep it is. So whether they want to change the education system, healthcare system, the environment, the coaching space, the healer space, you want to change politics, you want to change whatever in a big way, maybe big systems. All the way to I want to empower women to be who they are and to live the life they want, or I want to have the world's greatest, telesummit platform, or it could be all kinds of things. It comes in different packages of varieties of things, world-changing things that you might want to be up to. But whatever it is, if you haven't, it still feels awkward. You don't have clients or business going with it quite yet, or not that well. You need to drop an anchor. You're definitely not grounded yet if you're not manifesting in that business. So part of what we want to do is to envision the business, well, not just the business, but the vision for the business first. We want to drop the anchor for it energetically through your energies and through your chakras is part of, it's my thing. I help people with that. And you have to continue to be with it, and then be in action in the new business and give your full energy and commitment and thrust into it. Very few of you can do, some of you can, but it's less, I would say the minority, let me put it that way. So I say very few in that regard can, just have these all kinds of big projects all over the place and do this big new thing all at the same time. Chances are it'll never happen for most of you. And I'm not saying all of you, because some of you can do that. We'll have a way to do that through creating teams and etc. So, but you have to create enough space, enough energy, enough bandwidth to allow the new business to be created. And to, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not that lady, and I'm not that woman anymore. I'm not that woman that created that wildly successful thing there. This is for me now. And now this is the thing. And then you infuse the sense of you being successful with that into that business. I have known people that have been successful in other businesses that tell me, I don't know how to, I'm having a hard time. I succeeded in this business, but I can't seem to succeed in this business. And then when we look at it, they're trying to create it in a different way than the way they created their last business, which would be true. You're not going to create exactly the same way, but somehow it's interesting. We get into doing our deeper work, our deeper soul work. It's really funny, but it's like you forget, you have amnesia and can't seem to integrate the success you had over here into the new business. And there is a certain amount of integration that often comes into it. There are parts of that want to come in and migrate in to the energetics of the new thing that's coming in. And it's almost like they have amnesia. They can't, I don't know, I just totally lost. And it feels very vulnerable for them. I'm like, well, I know how to succeed. I don't know why this is so hard. And it's an energetic thing. It's a deep thing. You probably have past lives of being persecuted for going too far with your deeper truth, or you're a healer and are persecuted, etc. These are the deep, deep things. And those are the things that have got to be addressed one way or another. If you have a way of identifying those things and tuning in your own energy, clearing them, then that's the work you want to be taking a look at. You want to be looking inside for those things. Now, if you don't know how to do that, or even if you do, I do recommend you consider working with someone that can help you with those things. And of course, I help with those things, but just to get help with those things, whoever it might be. Because whether someone's helping you with your mindset, your energy around that sort of thing, or someone's going directly to the past life, the energy just has to be dealt with one way or another. And sometimes, different strokes for different folks, as they say. I mean, everyone's got their own thing. For some of you, you'll be like, yes, I want to know about my past lives and all that stuff. And I want to deal with that. And I want to integrate everything. I want to get everything integrated. I want to take these energies that are kind of swirling in me, get them aligned into my center, get them digested and grounded, so that the actualization of the highest presence and light of your vision for your business can actually come into deep clarity and fruition to serve as powerfully as it can. And so that's what I delight in. That's what I'm about. And just like I help so many healers, now I'm helping those that want to be world changers, that to do that. And they're just, just people that find their way to me, that are those type of people, the world changers. They got a big vision for, or a big sense of a vision inside themselves that wants to be actualized. They know they're supposed to be doing big things and want to actualize that. And part of it is closing the chapter, where have you been, and opening up the new one and allowing yourself to deeply immerse yourself in that. Imagine if you were like you wrote novels or something, and you get all that, like, it's all fantasy, right? It's all imagination. You create a whole story, a novel, and we were done with it. You start the new one, and part of you is still writing the old story. Like, oh yeah, we're like, one's about all this, and you're like, yeah, here we are in the castle, and like, it had nothing to do with the castle. It has to do with, we're somewhere completely different now, and you can't even land there because your energy is still tied up in the old stuff. So you keep migrating it over, and it makes that business a mess. So you need to get clean and clear in your energy one way or another, and making that full commitment. Motivational circles, they say, get clear, write it down, get the plans and massive action and all that stuff. And maybe you already have done that, though. Maybe you did that in your past life success, right? As I said, past life earlier in your life. And you got burned up. Maybe you got burned up there. You burned out. Got to be too much. Maybe you sacrifice so much of your time with family or your self-care, or et cetera. And you just can't create the next thing that way. And I say that there's a higher actualization for most of us. Most of us are designed not to be stressed. I don't think any of us are, none of us are, designed to be stressed out all the time. We're designed to be divine and into a deep centered peace and flow to allow the highest to unfold. And, repetitively on this program, and probably every time I speak individually, I've been mentioning this lately, and maybe I won't someday. But I think about, again, someone like Eckhart Tolle. He's not sweating it over there, okay? He's making massive impact, world-changing, huge world-changing impact. He calls himself lazy, and he's enjoying he's just enjoying presence. He's enjoying life itself, and he happens to be making an incredible amount of money. I've been told he has tens of millions of dollars in the bank account or something like that. I don't know. I just know he's making lots of money, from what I'm told. But there's a rumor. It would make sense with the things he does if he'd be generating a lot of money. And he doesn't care about the money that deeply, but I'm sure he enjoys it. I'm sure he enjoys that he gets to experience that blessing in his life. So I say that because sometimes our monkey mind, again, will say, well, come on, you have to roll up your sleeves and really get at it. Eckhart Tolle says no. I say no. We don't know that you can create structures, as I'm using some of Eckhart's language here, but create structures and things and have the sense of manifestation through the ego mind and the striving mind. Oh, absolutely. And I think it's so clever and so powerful and so genius, until you need to let go of it. And the only way you're transcending and you're leveling up, if you have the awareness of the idea of ascending and your soul ascending, graduating from the earth school, the only way it's going to happen is by letting go. You're not going to motivate your way to the next level. For those of you listening, you already know that's true for you. You're not going to, quote unquote, motivate yourself up into the next level. You're going to let it drop in. You're going to relax into it. That's how it's going to happen. And there might be a lot of inspiration, a lot of energy, a lot of actions, but it'll come from a different place. And so that's what I've been experiencing, is a lot more peace, a lot more ease. I had a lot of it in my last business, actually. So it's not really a dramatic change, but it's still a deep, meaningful change. It's even way lighter and way freer and way easier than ever before. And so I feel like I've shifted even more in that regard. So with all that being said, only your mind, only your patterns in your mind and all that can overcomplicate this thing. Your highest actualization, your big vision might seem like there's a lot to be done, a lot of moving pieces, but it's a whole lot simpler than you could ever possibly imagine. And you could feel it inside your being, that there's a simple path. And that's what I point you into. And that's what I'll keep doing here on this show as well. So, but if you want to check me out, if you possibly would want to apply for the opportunity to be with me, for me to tune into your energy and give you wisdom and guidance on your path, go to yoursacredpurpose.com, yoursacredpurpose.com, and you'll see a form, right? You'll see a thing to click on to get to the forum, and to do that, a 30-minute energy scan consultation with me. I don't meet with everybody, no offense, but so fill it out diligently and well, and convey to me that you really want to meet with me, and we'll see. And then there's also a meditate and make money meditation you can access on that page. So take advantage of that. There's people making, people are already made a decent, they're doing pretty well, are making more money by meditating and making money there. So anyway, check it all out. And then keep listening in here. So, so grateful to connect with you about this vital subject, and I just can't wait for you all to. I can't wait to hear what. Give me your comments. I want to hear feedback on this episode. I love doing this episode, and I hope you're enjoying it as well. And you keep on tuning, as I say, keep on tuning in here, Spiritual Rockstar Podcast Show, and we'll keep on rocking it. Okay, everybody, much love. You're listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.